I, 34 male, had been married to my wife, Cecilia, 33 female, for what I thought were 8 amazing years. Apparently, I was living a lie. It doesn't change the fact that I had a good time in those years, but in retrospect, I can't even hold on to the memories as fondly as I used to, because now I know the truth about her. I gave her everything. I was a good husband. I know that for a fact. The most important thing was that I genuinely loved her. But besides that, everything else was right. I listened to her. I tried to fix the problems that she had. I always wanted her to be happy. Money wasn't a problem either, because I have a good job and I've never been afraid to spend it if it's going to make her happy. We have a house, we both have cars, and we were even considering having 1 child in a year or 2. That's not going to happen anymore, and it breaks my heart, because I had put so much of myself into that future that I thought we were building. If I get emotional while writing all of this, just understand where I'm coming from. There's a lot of pain, and I'm going to try and keep most of it bottled up. It was such a regular day when she decided to come and ruin everything. It was a Saturday, I think, and I had literally just finished watching my team win their game. I was in a good mood. Everything actually felt perfect. I don't know whether she specifically targeted when I'd be in a good mood because she thought that what she had to say would land best under those circumstances. She sat down beside me in the living room and she told me that she had something that she wanted to talk about. I gave her my full attention, and while I could tell that it was going to be something serious, there was really no way that I was going to have predicted what she was ready to tell me. She started off talking about how much she loved me, all the things I had done for her, and how excited she had been to start a family with me. She used the past tense when talking about starting a family, so I knew something was wrong. At first, I thought it was going to be her changing her mind about having kids, and while that would have hurt, it definitely wouldn't have been divorce-worthy. I'm not averse to saying child-free if I'm still with the person who I consider to be the love of my life. It was worse than that. She looked me right in the eye and then she said, "I'm in love with someone else." She didn't say anything after that. She wanted me to say something, to respond to her. But honestly, I didn't have any idea what to say. I was still processing what she had just said. I was trying to figure out if it was some kind of joke, or if I had really heard her right. When she saw that I wasn't going to say anything, she said that she was sorry. She knew that it was wrong, she knew she was breaking my heart, but she had to be true to herself. She still loved me, but she loved the other guy more, and she would be betraying me and herself if she stayed with me. It sounded like the kind of bull that you read in those unrealistic romance novels where the woman can be a butt yet still win in the end. When I had managed to comfort myself, the first thing I asked her was, "Who is he?" As easily as she had been able to come forth to tell me there was someone else, she seemed hesitant to answer that question, which pissed me off. Why was it that she could so easily break my heart by telling me there was someone else she was in love with, but to tell me who it was the problem? I wanted to yell at her, but I kept my cool and just stayed silent. I guess it was so awkward that she realized she had to say something, so she admitted that the person was Kyle. I had hoped that it would be someone I knew nothing about, but no, it was the worst case scenario. Kyle was some guy she had met at a convention she had gone to for work. They were at the same stand. She pulled out her phone, and he saw that her background was of a certain anime character that she really likes, and he started up the conversation from there. Apparently he's a big anime nerd too, so things started off there. I didn't want to be the kind of husband who says that a woman isn't allowed to have male friends because it is 2025 and it is pretty unrealistic, in my opinion, to stay away from natural friendships with the opposite gender. I have female friends too, and I have no intention to sleep with a lot of them, so I just wanted to get the benefit of the doubt in that regard. When she first met him, she talked about him a whole lot, but with time, he just became an occasional mention, like the 1 or 2 times that he came around our city and she went to see him. I'll admit that I didn't like it at the time, but it felt like I would have been overreacting if I forbade her from going to see her at that time. If he were an ex or a friend she had some kind of history with, I wouldn't mind stopping her from seeing him, but I had never registered a single complaint about Kyle, so it seemed like the worst time to start. Say whatever you want about me and the way that I handled it. Her telling me that it was that guy just made me speechless again. I think I was really holding myself back from reacting because I knew that anything that I could possibly say wouldn't have been good. All I had in me was anger, not just at the circumstances themselves, but how casually she steered us away from the normal life we were meant to have. Eventually, I finally found my voice, and I had so many questions to throw at her. I asked her when she figured out that she loved him. I asked her what he did that I didn't do. I wanted to know if they had already slept together at that point. She paused for a long time, as if that was the hard part, and not telling her husband of 8 years that she loved someone else. Eventually, she was able to get the answers out, She figured out that she loved him about 6 months ago, and when it happened, she thought it was just a crush, but she realized that it was more than that. She talked to him about it, and he said he felt the same way. She claimed that there was nothing that I didn't do. He was just a better fit. I asked her if it was about the anime and other interests, but she only said that it added points, but it wasn't good enough to make her move away from me. She didn't answer the last question that I asked, and she tried to move on from it, so I had to remind her. Looking back, I knew she was hoping I'd forget that I had asked it. The fact she didn't want to answer it was evidence enough of what the answer was. She answered it though, and she said that something happened, but it was just once, and that their emotions for each other had gotten charged. I remember that I stood up and started pacing. It was like I would have lost my mind if I didn't start moving. I was so angry. I knew that whatever had happened between them was way beyond the point of kissing or touching. I knew they had gone the distance. I needed her to tell me if she had any reservations about throwing that news on me out of nowhere. She said she did, and she had to work up the courage for it. She knew it was going to hurt me, but it had to be done because if she stopped herself from doing it out of fear of hurting me, she would be trapping the two of us in a marriage that wasn't real anymore. I wanted to keep my cool. I really did. But I just couldn't handle her being there anymore. I told her that she'd be best off if she left the house. Her new man's house would be the best place for her to go. But she reminded me that he didn't live in the same state, so she couldn't. I told her that she had to go, because I simply wouldn't be able to bear living in the same house as her. There's a difference between a woman cheating on you and hoping that you'll move past it and forgive them, and a woman who cheats on you and wants to leave you. You'd be surprised at how unbearable it is to live with the woman in the second scenario. I wasn't going to put myself through that. She asked me whether there was no chance that she'd be able to stay. She said that she would stay out of my way as much as I wanted. She volunteered to take the guest bedroom too. I let her know it wasn't enough. She had betrayed me way too deeply for me to make any kind of concession for her. The fact I wasn't losing my mind was enough of a concession, and she needed to leave before I couldn't take it any longer. Thankfully, she didn't make too much of a fuss. In the entire thing, she knew that she had effed up real bad, and she didn't have the moral currency to try and stand her ground and be stubborn. I think the worst part is that she's been out of the house for about 2 weeks now, and she still hasn't made it very clear that she wants to get divorced. That's annoying me. I've met up with a divorce lawyer in preparation for the papers that I thought were going to come, but they still haven't, so it looks like I'm going to have to take matters into my own hands. She messaged to tell me that she's staying with a friend, though I didn't really care. That's the only major thing she has told me since she left. Anyhow, it doesn't matter what is making her take so long, because I've spoken to my lawyer and the divorce papers will be ready at some point after I post this. So I'll be the one to initiate the divorce if she's too cowardly to do that. Update. This update has been a long time coming, but a lot has happened since my last post, and I don't think the way the post ended makes for a befitting conclusion, especially in light of what I have been through at this point. The first thing that I need to mention, and probably the most boring part of the post, is that I've gotten divorced from Cecilia. I had to be the one to start the divorce process, which I found to be rather silly, especially since she made it very clear that she had someone else she was in love with, and you'd expect her to hurry up and pull the trigger on us so she can be with her person. But no, she dawdled until I got too tired to keep waiting. So yeah, I had her served with divorce papers at her sister's place. She called me to tell me that she had received the divorce papers. She paused for a long time on the other end, and then she eventually admitted that she didn't think that there had been any rush. I told her that she had made up her mind, and I was surprised that she hadn't gone ahead with it earlier. She didn't say it, but I'm so sure that her plan was to start dating Kyle officially, test the waters, and only make the divorce happen once she was sure he wasn't a mistake. If that's true, it's funny to me, because I never would have taken her back, so it's not like she was keeping her foot in the door when it came to me and her. When the actual divorce business began, she tried to negotiate with me, and we almost got to a point where we could both agree on the terms, but she kept trying to get more and more, and that pissed me off. I assumed her lawyer was putting her up to that, or maybe she was just a greedy witch. Once I realized that I was being taken advantage of, I told her that we were going to end up taking things to court. To me, it was like she was playing around, and I was tired of playing around. As I'm sure almost all of you know, courts don't favor men when it comes to marriages ending. I'm starting to see the sense in people who say that men shouldn't even get married. You get famous men like Ronaldo building families but leaving out the ring, and you wonder if they might have cracked the code, though I know he has proposed now. I ended up with a house and kept my car, but besides that, I lost a lot of money, plus I'll be paying alimony for some years. It sucks, but I couldn't have done anything about it. I couldn't have loved her any more than I loved her because at the end of the day, she saw someone she liked more and had zero loyalty towards me. She just went straight for him like some kind of cheap hoe. So yeah, eventually the divorce was over, and I found myself with half of my savings gone. I tried to move on. There was a lot of hurt left in my chest, but I realized that I just had to move on from it and try to heal. So I did that, and it was actually going well. Of course, if there's one thing that Cecilia knows how to do, it is ruin things when they're going well, and that was exactly what she did. I noticed that she started trying to reach out to me more than usual, which was strange. Post-divorce, she'd only reach out for things related to our split, but this time, I noticed that she was calling for small talk and small talk only, and I found it weird. I noticed it started about a month after we finished up in court. After a while, I realized that I was never going to heal if I kept letting her yap about random things, as if there was nothing wrong, or like there was no bad blood between us. So I just stopped picking up. She would start sending messages, but whenever she did that, I'd just leave those messages to sit there. I knew that things were going too far when she showed up at the house one day to just chat. It felt like she was infringing my space, so the very first thing that I asked her was why she wasn't staying with Kyle instead of bothering me. She said that they hadn't made arrangements for one of them to move to the other city. I told her it'd be a good idea for them to prioritize that, and she said that they were trying. When I got tired of her being in the house, I heavily suggested that it would be a good idea for her to leave, and eventually she got the hint and left. I assumed that she was able to smell how little I wanted her to be in the house with me, and that would have been enough to dissuade her from ever trying to reach out again. I was so wrong about that. She showed up at my door about a week after that, and I was really pissed off when I opened the door and saw her. This time, I was a lot less nice. I told her that I didn't have many positive emotions left when I came to her, and I didn't understand why she kept trying to force herself into my space. She was doing a really bad job of letting me heal, and I expressed that. During the divorce itself, I had been relatively kind towards her, so I wasn't surprised to see she was taken aback by the bluntness. That was when she decided to be truthful and admit what was going on. She said that it hurt her to say it, but she missed me a lot. She wasn't sure, but she knew it was possible that she had made a big mistake in her attempts to be true to herself. She couldn't get memories of me out of her head, and even though she had a person that she had moved to, it wasn't the same thing, because it was like she was starting from scratch. I waited for her to get to whatever her point was, because nothing she had said up to then made me feel any sympathy for her. She claimed she wasn't trying to force us to get back together, but being with me made her happy, and she kept craving that happiness, which is why she kept calling me and trying to be around me. I didn't mince words when I told her that I wasn't going to indulge her. She was always thinking about herself, but she called it putting herself first. She found someone else who tickled the right part of her, and she left me for them. She even slept with him. Now that she doesn't have me, she realizes that it isn't as rosy as she thought it was going to be, and she's trying to get back into my good graces. I told her that I didn't want a single thing to do with her anymore. It was my turn to put myself first, and to do that, I was going to cut her off. I would make sure that her alimony was paid on schedule, but we were never going to be close again. That bridge had burned to ash. She hadn't even cried when she broke the news of her other man to me, but she was crying then. It was very irritating, and I told her that. She was crying because she didn't get her way. She'll be fine, and I let her know that. For as long as she has Kyle, she has someone else. I was the one who was alone, and if I ever choose to get with someone again, it won't be her. I walked to the door and opened it. I told her that she had to leave, and I genuinely didn't want to see her show up again. Before she left, she touched my chest, and she said that she wished she never left. I brushed her hand away and told her to step out, which she did. I closed the door behind her, and that was it. That was the last time I've seen her. There's no silver lining. I just went through a bunch of pain, solely because of a woman who wanted another man. I have to just learn and heal from it, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't need her trying to ruin things for me anymore. She's absolutely pathetic. She leaves, drains half your savings, sleeps with Kyle, and then tries to waltz back into your life crying about missing happiness like she's the victim of anything? No. Kyle's just her next emotional sugar rush. Let her cry, let her whine, let her realize too late that she destroyed something real. She doesn't deserve your sympathy, she doesn't deserve your time, and she certainly doesn't deserve another second of your life. Thoughts? Share them with us in the comments. And thank you for joining us today on Our Space. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. Until next time.